You need to start increasing your frequency and vibration. And it's very, very important and it will make you so successful if you do it. And I know you might be saying, hey, Brock, what is this, like an astrology video? Oh, I'm going to get my crystals and they're going to increase my vibration. Look, I understand what you're saying, but everything around me, especially around me, the trees, the light, the color, everything is vibration. Colors themselves are vibration and frequency. They're set at a number. I myself, in the same way, everything is. And I said this to someone recently. I said, like, look, you need to start learning how to manifest because the importance of increasing your vibration or your frequency is that you can tap into these things of manifestation, such as the law of assumption or the law of attraction. And the reason these are very powerful is because you need to be in a space that you're in belief and that you're in a higher self, which sounds very, very nerdy and sounds in a way that's like, okay, dude, what are you on? What kind of drugs are you on? But in actuality, it's the truth. And I was talking to someone about this. And I was like, you should manifest. And they said, no, I believe in God. I'm going to pray. And I looked at them, and this is someone who's very dear to me. And I said, like, look, you can pray. I believe in God myself. But where do you think the universe came from? Everyone sits there and says, oh, the universe, it was just a big bang and it just happened. Or if you believe in God, you could think, okay, maybe he created the universe. So if I'm believing in manifestation, which comes from the universe, and if God made the universe, then manifestation does not go against God. You can pray and manifest. So there's a lot of ways to do it. I believe in praying, and there's a lot to it, and we'll leave that there. But and the other thing is like, look, you need to understand that just because you're manifesting, it's not some like dork, energy or something like that. It's not like, these little witches or whatever, or they got their crystals, bro. It's nothing like that. If anything, it's way better than that. So you gotta believe that, like, look, manifestation goes with God. It's nothing to do against God. You're not going to get against God. And if it was, you would know. You would feel a feeling in your body that, hey, look, you're going against God. But nonetheless, it's very important. And the ways to increase your vibration are very, very simple. It really just comes down to like the way you live. For instance, the way you eat. You ever eat something and it's just like you get some Culver's or something like that, and you eat it and you're like, okay, yeah, that's some good food. But then you eat it and it goes down. It feels like shit. Like, ugh. And you go, then the next day you go eat some like grapes and some like pineapple and some like chicken and something clean, and you just feel better. It's not just about the quality of the food or that it's good food versus bad food, but it's the process part. It's all this. So when you're putting good versus bad in your body starts to look at it in a different way, right? Your body is it's that corny ass line. Your body's a temple. So you want to treat it with the best anything you could treat it with, right? So if you are putting bad shit in it constantly, you're gonna feel bad. So you're gonna decrease your vibration. You know, a lot of it is also like I brought up with God. A lot of it is paid to God. You have to. God gave you this body and the soul and all these things, right? You have to respect the fact He did it. So we oftentimes, since we are given all this, right? When you like hurt your arm, you're like, oh, I hurt my arm, and you just really, you're mad and you miss the times when your arm actually worked, right? Then you actually respect the arm because you're like, okay, I actually have it. But before that, you don't have as much respect for it because you were given to it for free. There's no inherent value to it. So when you really start to respect your body and do things that are going with it, right? So if you're going outside, catching a tan, letting the sun get a little tan, but you're also getting that vitamins in your body, right? You're really starting to feel good. Or working out, for instance. It's not you don't have to be boom, boom. You don't have to be like me, boom, you know what I mean? You don't have to be any of that. But more or less what it is taking care of your health. Health is a very good way of increasing your vibration and creating you in this upper level of you know, presence and consciousness. And that's a lot of it, right? Or another thing is like the music you listen to. A lot of people listen to like this is another person the same person that, was telling me about praying, you know, and how I'm not gonna manifest, I'm gonna with God. It's the same person who listens to sadder music. And now this I don't let this bother me when I hang out with this person. But the big thing is that you are going to oftentimes, if you're listening to sad music, what you listen to and what you put into your mind and all your subconscious is what you become. You allow that music to engulf you with not even purposely. So oftentimes I don't even listen to that kind of music. I still see your shadows in my room. I ain't listening to that kind of music. I'm listening to some Michael Jackson. I'm getting a little groovy. You know what I mean? I'm listening to some music like that. So you don't want this music to engulf you, right? Because once you start to listen to it, even the frequency and here we go, the frequency and the hertz in which it is, right? The music in which the way that they produce this music, the sad music, is in a frequency that affects your mind in a different way and it causes emotions in a different way. So now you're lowering your frequency as a whole. You know, there's music I don't remember. I think it's like 430 hertz or something like that's a good one, and 432 is bad. It's one of them. I can't remember, but that is a prime example of how frequency affects you. We know this if we go look in studies. You know, different frequencies of different music affect the way you think and your mood and all this, right? Another thing is like, you know, using vices, right? For example, people will like drink. This is something I kind of ran into myself, and it's like, look, you have to kind of get away from those. You're using it as a vice. You're putting yourself even, I don't want to go call conspiratorial, right? But they say like, look, spirits. That's what alcohol is called. That's what liquor is called, right? It's called spirits. So you don't think that's a little weird? It's called spirits, and you feel a different way when you're drinking. More comes out. It's not something you should mess with, right? So leave that shit away, even for your health. Leave that shit away. Another thing is look, uh, damn. Another thing is like, look, so your own, like, as a man, this is for men. Um, Definitely lust. Lust is another one. So you have to think about it, right? I myself can create a child. Women can do the same thing, but it starts with me as the man. I have sperm in my body, right? And when you are constant from masturbation, if you're constantly releasing, you have to think about it. If I can create a child with what is inside my body, wouldn't that be my life force? I can literally create life out of that. And that's why, like, when you do that, you feel really, really fucking tired. And a lot of people like start going bald, and they start losing all this shit, and they just start looking weird when you can tell if motherfuckers are gooning. But if you really like are holding that shit, you'll get that glow. You'll be looking good, and it's very, lust. It's a very hard one to beat. You know what I mean? Like even now, it's like I don't even sleep with anyone. The last time I slept with someone was like 5 months ago. And my big thing is like I don't want to soul tie with someone. You know the amount of times I've had girls come up to me and they get mad that I don't want to be with them, I don't want to sleep with them, I don't want to do anything, and they get pissed off at me. Plenty of times. That's not me trying to flex or anything. I just turn them down because yeah, they're very pretty, but it's like, do I really want to be with them? What if I accidentally get them pregnant, even on a non-vibrational and blah blah blah? What if I actually accidentally get them pregnant? Do I do I see myself with that person long term? Or is that just gonna be a headache? Am I gonna have to fucking deal with that? So no, you don't want to do that. It's a big thing. Like, look, you don't want to put yourself in that position. So I don't just sleep with anyone. You know, I'm very, very picky. So my soul ties. Other things are like gratitude, how you speak to yourself, how you speak to others, how you treat people. For instance, when I pray myself, I thank God. I don't ask him for anything. I hardly ask him for anything. But I'm very, very grateful. I said, thank you, Father, for everything you do. You're such a great Father. And thank you for giving me an opportunity every single morning to wake up and have another chance at life. Because every single morning, I have a chance to do something great with my life. I have a chance to go out. I don't work a job. I get to explore the world. I get to sit out and go on a walk on a Tuesday. I get to go play golf with my boys. I get to do whatever I want, and I thank God every single day for that. He could not wake me up tomorrow. He could wake me up today. I thank God for getting some gains. You know what I mean? But it's stuff like that. You need to openly be grateful and gratitude and practice that often, because once you start doing that, everything starts to come, and you start to become inherently lucky. And you're like, why am I so lucky? Why? Because you're so positive, you're so full of energy, you're so here. And even when you surround yourself with these people that are low vibrational, it doesn't affect you because you yourself are so in frame and you're so confident, you're so this, you're so that, that you've been doing the work that they can't bring you down unless you start to, I don't know, slip on things like, oh yeah, you know, I am I'm not lifting no more, or I'm starting to eat bad, or I'm starting to drink every single day. Once you start doing that, then everything goes to shit. But dude, you can't even do it. So trust me, start increasing your vibration. Everything will start to become lucky. You'll start to be able to tap into the law of attraction, the law of assumption, and that will be that. But I'm gonna leave you guys to it. I'm getting bit up by mosquitoes. If you like this video, like it, subscribe for more. Peace.